praise to Yahweh Shah, double honor to the apostles of GMS. My name is Amna Allah, and to my left is
Zakar.
Lamanya. And today we're going to get into the wheat and the tares, but we're going to go look up a historical aspect of the parable of the wheat and the tares. So the first scripture can brother get Matthew 13 and the 13th chapter and the 24th verse. I had this show in mind for a couple of months, going back February, as a matter of fact. Probably even before then. Got it?
Yeah, it's Matthew 13 and 24.
Yep.
Another parable put he forth unto them, saying,
This is Yahweh Shah. About to get into this. Go ahead.
The kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed a good seed in his field.
But the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. Now, as you read on, Yahweh Shah breaks down the parable, which he that sows the good seed is the Son of Man, speaking by Yahweh Shah. And can you like Luke 8 and 10?
Yeah.
It says, tell you what the seed is.
Luke 8 and
8th chapter and 10th verse.
Luke 8 and 10. And he said, unto you it is given to know the mysteries of...
John 10 and 8.
10 and 8?
Yeah, it says that the good seed is the word.
Alright.
I think it's 10 and 8.
10 and 8.
That's it?
No.
It says, look at it right here. It says the seed is the word. See if I can bring it up. That's Luke 8 and 11. I said 8 and 10. 8 and 11.
Luke 8 and 11. Now the parable is this. The seed is the word of the Most High.
So now we know the seed is the word of the Most High, right? And as you read on, the field is the world. But the main thing I want to focus on, because you already know the break, brothers, we've been in this thing for a couple years, even a couple months. You should already know what the breakdown of the parable of wheat and tares is. I want to also get into the historical aspect of it. So what I was planning on doing was reading the 6 verses and then reading it one more time. And the second time we read it, we're going to go into it. So you can continue from there. I'll read that again.
Alright, Matthew 13 and 24. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man,
which is Yahweh Shah. Go ahead.
Which soweth a good seed in his field.
The seed is the word, and the field represents the world. Go ahead.
But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. That
period of time when men slept, that's going into the period of slavery. His enemy came and sowed tares amongst the wheat and went his way. That's going to the period of slavery when the so-called white man came and slept, and not say slept, raped the so-called black woman and the woman of the rest of the other tribes during that period of slavery. And he left his seed in those women. And when those women had children, so many of those children came out looking like Israelites, but they were really Edomites due to the seed of their fathers. The so-called white men that raped those women, the Israelite women during the period of slavery. Go ahead.
But when the blade was sprung up.
Yeah, the blade was strung up. Look at that word blade. It means, see if I can find it here, get it here in the Greek. I don't know if you will even hear from this far. If not, we'll put up there in post-production. But, that's real quick.
Strong's G, 5528. Chartas. Chartas.
Chartas. And it says, the place where grass grows and animals graze, grass, herbage, hay, provender, of green grass, of growing crops. Provender. So in other words, it represents food. That blade, as the elder Gabar had brought out years ago, that's going into where the truth was sprung up. Which the truth is likened unto food, which is provender, which is what you got in the Greek when you look up that word blade. And that was going around to the period of about 1970. Late 60s, early 70s, when the truth started to spring up. Go ahead. Begin with a man named Abba Bivens. Go on.
But when the blade was sprung up, it brought forth fruit.
And brought forth fruit when the men began to wake up into the knowledge. Go ahead.
Then appeared the tares also.
Because even going back then, you had people who looked like Israelites, but who wasn't Israelites. Because going back down to the lineage, they had white forefathers. Go ahead. Whose lineage goes back to the Edomites. Go on.
So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, Didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? For whence then have it tis?
Read it one more time, Mark.
Right, verse 27. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? For whence then have it tis?
Right, so did not Yahweh Shah sow good seed in his field? So if you sow good seed, which this good seed represents the children of the kingdom, whence come his tares, which are what? The children of the wicked one. So-called, going back to so-called white men. Go ahead.
He said unto them, An enemy have done this.
So-called white man Esau. Go on.
The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up?
The servants being the angels, without them go that we may gather them up. But that's going to happen in the end of the world. When Yahweh Shah comes back and his angels, he delivers the elect in the chariots of Israel known as so-called UFOs. Go ahead.
But he said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them.
So don't gather them up now, because if you do, when you gather the tares, you're going to root up the wheat as well. Go ahead. We're going to read this again, and we're going to go into the history on it. Go on.
Let both grow together unto the harvest.
The harvest is the time of gathering, which is the end of the world. I'm breaking it down like that because if you read on the chapter, Yahweh Shah breaks it down itself. So to save time in reading that, we're going to break it down right here. Go on.
And in that time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, Gather ye together first the tares, and bind them into bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat in my barn.
Which represents the chariots. And the tares is talking about the children of the wicked one. Those Israelites that look, those Edomites that look like Israelites, but that aren't. Okay? And it says, bind them into bundles and burn them. That's going into the thermonuclear destruction, which is going to come upon America in the coming World War III. And it says, but gather the wheat, which the wheat represents the children of the kingdom, the elected nation of Israel, into his barn, which is talking about the chariots. So now, brother, can you read that 24th verse one more time, and then I'll bring out the history on it.
All right, back to Matthew 13:24.
So now you got the gist of what the prophecy is going into. You want to get into it deeper, you can continue reading the 13th chapter on your own. Go on.
Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field.
Go on.
But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat.
Right, so it said while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat. Now when you go into the history, you'll find out during the period when Yahweh Shah was on the scene, who was in power? The Roman Empire was in power. So you had different Roman laws. And when you go into the law, there's a law called the Lex Aquilia. Lex means law. Aquilia is equal. So it means like law the evil or evil law, which the eagle was a symbol of the Roman Empire.
Right.
And I got this here on Wikipedia. It says Lex Aquilia. It says the Lex Aquilia was a Roman law which provided compensation to the owners of property injured by someone's fault. So if someone injured another person's property, you have to go into the Roman law, you have to go into the Lex Aquilia, because why? That person could receive compensation. The owner could receive compensation to his property that was injured by someone else. That's what the Lex Aquilia is about. So now, that was Wikipedia. So now, we go to the webpage here. You'll see it in post-production. I'm gonna read a little bit of this real quick. Okay, it says, therefore Celsus makes the inquiry. Okay, so real quick. Alright. It says, therefore Celsus makes the inquiry. If you sow darnel, wait a minute, it says darnel, or weeds in the wheat field of another. Let's go back to Matthew 13. Now the brother read verse 25 in Matthew 13 chapter. When you look at that word tares in the Greek, the word there is, look on it.
Strong's G 2215. Zizanion. Zizanion.
The word there is zizanion. And when you look it up, it says, a kind of darnel resembling wheat, except the grains are black. So the word tares in the Greek is zizanion, which means a kind of darnel resembling wheat, except the grains are black. And then the Lex Aquilia, it says, if you sow darnel or tares, or weeds in the wheat field of another. That's why we just read in Matthew's the 13th chapter. What was that verse? The 25th verse. Can you read it again now?
Yeah, Matthew 13:25. But while man slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way.
It says, if you sow darnel or weeds, which are tares, in the wheat field of another. That goes right into the parable. If therefore sellers makes the inquiry, if you sow darnel or weeds in the wheat field of another, the owner of the same, meaning the owner of that wheat field, can not only institute proceedings meaning a procedure, to a course of action, legal action. So if someone sowed tares or darnel, weeds, into your field, you can take procedures against them, meaning you can take a legal action, because that person is destroying your livelihood. So it says, the owner of the same, meaning the owner of that wheat field that someone planted darnel in, or tares in, can not only institute proceedings, meaning a legal action, under the interdict quod viatquam. When you look that up, quod viatquam, it says, this is definition uslegal.com. The definitions.uslegal.com. Interdictum quod viatquam, law and legal definition. Interdictum quod viatquam is a Latin term meaning interdict because of force or stealth. Didn't say they came at night?
Yeah.
Because they came in stealth. They came when you were sleeping. They said they came when you were asleep, so that means they had that came at night, or came during the part of the day when in stealth, because you were asleep, you wasn't aware. So it says interdictum quod viatquam is a Latin term meaning interdict because of force or stealth. It refers to an interdict issued against a person who forcibly or secretly changed the claimant's property. He secretly changed your property. Why? Because he came when you slept and sowed tares amongst your wheat. The interdict also requires the defendant to restore the property to its previous condition. That's why when you go to look at that word interdict. It says an authoritative prohibition, prohibit or forbid something. Okay? And prohibition means the act of forbidding. So it's an authoritative act of forbidding something. That's why when you go into the prophecy, it said, while men slept, you sowed tares amongst his field. Why he did it while you slept? Because he did it in stealth. So I'm reading one more time. It says, if you sow darnel or weeds in the wheat field of another, the owner of the same can not only institute proceedings, meaning a legal course of action, under the interdict or forbidding or authoritative prohibition, quod viatquam, which means, put it one more time, which means interdict because of force or stealth. So they sold darnel or tares in your wheat field through stealth because they did it while you slept. Or if the land is leased, the tenant can do so. But you can also bring action in factum. Let's put that in factum. Alright. Give me 1 second. 1 second. I'm typing in factum, Roman law. If I can't get it up, then I'll probably put it up. Alright, here it goes. It says actio. This is glossary of Roman law. Actio in factum, an action given by the praetor on the facts of the case alone, with no civil law action was applicable. He can also bring an action in factum, and if the tenant brings it, he must give security that no other proceeding shall be instituted. That's basically the point. I'm going to read it a little bit more. Instituted. This, of course, being done in order to prevent the owner from causing further annoyance. So it is the one kind of damage to destroy or change something. In this case, the wheat field. For the purpose of giving cause for a suit under the Lex Aquilia, or in another, when without changing the substance of the article itself, you mingle something with it, the separation of which will be troublesome. So now if you read that verse again now, one more time.
Yep.
So it said, while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat. So the way in the ancient world, while men would slept, somebody would sleep, somebody would come and stealth and sow tares amongst your field. Back in the time when we slept, which is that period during slavery, our enemy, which is Esau, so the white man came and sowed tares amongst the children of the kingdom as well. When he raped the so-called black woman on the other tribes, and they had his children. and those children came out looking like Israelites, but wasn't. You got something to say?
Yeah, because if you watch certain films, you see that how like Mandingo, the guy Roots, my fault.
Yeah, because in Mandingo, his mom was white.
His mom's white. But in Roots, you see how the master, I forgot the guy's name. He would go in late night, just go down to a certain Pacific slaves' quarters, just to hit that. Even in the movie 12 Years a Slave, it showed you that. How the guy was having sex, he had crept at night to have sex with his slave girl.
Yeah.
And his wife didn't like that shit. She knew what he was doing. So what the brother's saying is true. This is exactly what happened in history. But I said it for you real quick.
Can we read one more time? We really go back to the webpage real quick. Like when it says, therefore Celsus makes the inquiry if you sow dawn or weeds in the wheat field of another, the owner of the same can not only institute proceedings under the interdict quad viaticum, which is by stealth or force, but he can also bring in action in factum. Look at the word factum. It says a statement of the facts of the case. All right. But you can bring what you had.
All right. This is going through history. Luke 13 and 31. The same day they came certain of the Pharisees saying
that
Luke 13:31. The same day they came certain of the Pharisees saying unto him, Get thee out and depart hence, for Herod will kill thee. And he said unto them, Go ye and tell that fox, Behold, I cast out devils, and I do cures today and tomorrow, and the third day I shall be perfect.
Yeah, it was a fox, because a fox is cunning, right? Cunning means be skillfully deceitful. Yep. And guess what? Herod had the physical appearance of a Jake.
Right.
But he wasn't a Jake. His mom's a so-called black woman, but his father wasn't.
The mother was a Hasmonean princess, so they married into the family. If you go, because when the Greeks came in and did what they did, if you go into the history, and Jason Maccabees, his lineage had a Hasmonean dynasty after their grandfather of Maccabees.
Yep.
And they had sons and everything. At the latter end, it was the women that took over, which was going off anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
And when the first Herod, he married into it because he was set up by Augustus to watch over that land. So they married into it, like they slide that thing in there, saying, look, he's an Israelite.
Exactly, yeah.
And the people that knew, they didn't like that.
Yeah.
So that's why the Lord said,
fox.
yeah, because that was a sly, cunning, deceitful thing. Because Herod was known for, like you said before, building a whole bunch of great artifacts for the Augustus and all that. So he sold out because he was a 10. He was an Edomite. All right. So that was it.
That's right. Can you read that verse 25 again now?
Yeah, Matthew 13:25. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm gonna go look at the word tares. I'll go to it one more time in the Greek. The word there is zanion. I'm reading again. It says a kind of darnel resembling wheat, except the grains are black. When you type in darnel, it'll bring something up on Wikipedia called Lolium temulentum, and it says Lolium temulentum, especially typically known as darnel, poison darnel, or copper, is an annual plant that forms part of the Aquilia family and part of the Lolium genus. The plant stem can grow to 1 meter tall, with inflorescence in the ears and purple grain. It has a global distribution. Darnel usually grows in the same production zones as wheat and is considered a weed. The similarity between these two plants is so great that in some regions, darnel is referred to as false wheat, because part of the wheat it is also goes into false teachers and righteous teachers, the prophets and false prophets. It says it bears a close resemblance to wheat until the ear appears. So before it appears, it has a close resemblance to wheat. And I have a picture here, Lord willing, to see it in post-production. It says it's tares, which we looked it up in the Greek is zanion, which means a darnel. And there's also a darnel likened unto a weed. Before the wheat is fully ripe, before it fully matures, as you can see right here, they look just alike. You can't really tell. except the grains inside this is black. When the wheat is fully grown and it's ripe, it fully matures, it's brown. But the darnel and the tares is black, and they look exactly alike before the wheat fully ripens. You know? We go back. It says, the spikes of the L. temulentum are more slender than those of the wheat. The spikelets are oriented edgeways to the rachis and have only a single bloom, while those of the wheat are oriented with the flat side to the rachis and have two blooms. The wheat will also appear brown ripe, whereas the darnel is black. See, we read that in the Greek. Darnel can be affected by endophytic fungus of the genus Neotyphodium, and the endophyte produce insecticidal lianon alkaloids were first isolated from this plant. The French word for darnel is ivrae, from the Latin ebriacus, intoxicated, which expresses the drunken nausea from eating the infected plant, which can be fatal. The French name echoes from the scientific name Latin temulentus, drunk. So it gives you, I believe when it's grounded into a flour, it could be poisonous. It could be fatal. It can cause dizziness. It can cause drunkenness, and cause you messing up in speech, you know, and different things of that nature. That's some other guys teaching that poison. Those guys just kids, man. You know? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, can you continue?
Verse 26. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also.
Go ahead.
So the servant.
The blade representing when the truth was sprung up. Because blade we looked it up as provender, which means food, which is word likened to food. Bread, you know, meat, you know? Go ahead, fruit, go on.
So the servants of the household that came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed, and they failed? For whence then have it tares?
Go on.
He said unto them, An enemy have done this. The servants said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up?
Go on.
But he said, Nay, lest while you gather up the tares, you root up also the wheat with them.
Why did Yahushua say, that you gather the tares, you root up the wheat also? If the scripture says you're going to root up the wheat also, what is that implying? When you look it up, you'll find out that the wheat and the tares deeply rooted within the earth. Their roots are tangled. And if you pull out the tear, since the roots are tangled, there's a possibility you can pull out wheat as well. So here you got your big field with wheats in it, and some of them are tares, but the wheat didn't fully ripen. So they both look like wheat. If you pull out, this should be a wheat right here. You pull it out, this should be a tear. Pull it out, but it's really a wheat. You're destroying your field. Wait, this might be.
No, I'm saying this is another point too. Like they both identical until they fully mature.
Exactly.
With the tares, you know, the things inside of it.
Yeah, the grains inside of it, the darnel. Yeah.
So you can't tell them the difference until they fully mature.
You can't tell until they fully mature. So Yahushua is saying, in the aspect of the Lex Aquilia, that with literal wheat and tares, you don't want to pull the tares up yet, because if you pull them up now, and the wheat isn't fully ripe, since the wheat and tares look alike, there's a possibility that you might pull out tares as well, because the roots are deeply are entangled deeply within the earth. So wait for them to ripen, and when you wait for them to ripen, well, I don't want to jump the gun because we didn't read that verse yet. So it says, yes, you root up also the wheat with them. So the aspect of literal wheat and tares, you pull up the tares before the wheat ripe, you might pull out some wheat as well and destroy your field. See how Yahushua is saying, you know what? Don't gather them up yet. Okay? It's not time for you to gather them up. Because if you're trying to gather the tares and destroy them, you're going to destroy some of the elect. You know what I'm saying? If you gather some of the tares who look like Israelites, but ain't, you might gather up some of the Israelites. You know what I'm saying? It's not that time yet. You know? Go ahead.
But he said, Nay, lest while you gather up the tares, you root up also the wheat with them.
Go ahead.
Let both grow together unto the harvest.
Yeah, let both go together until the harvest, until the time of gathering. And when you let them go together, I got the picture of what you see in their post-production. When the wheat and the tares fully grow, now you can tell the difference.
Yes.
Because when the wheat fully ripens, it's brown. And when the tares do, it's black. So now that they're fully ripened, now that they're both coming to maturity, now it's time for you to gather. Now you can gather the tares and burn them, and then gather up the wheat. That's why the scripture in the Apocrypha says, "This shall you know is my chosen."
Right.
You know where that's at? If you know where that's at, I'll look at it right now.
That's what show. That tells you right there. That's why it's all about being spiritual.
Yeah.
Because you might look at somebody look like you, may act like you, but that motherfucker will be a tip.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? I think it's 16 and 73. Second Ezra.
Second Ezra is 16 and 73. Then shall they be known who are my chosen.
In the time of the end. Read that again up. Can you read that again, verse 30?
Yeah, 29.
Oh yeah, 29.
Verse 29. But he said, Nay, that's why ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together unto the harvest. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers.
Can I bring this up real quick? Because the brother read said the word harvest. This is the word harvest in the Greek. See what that says.
Strong's G 2326. Thedismas. Thedismas.
Thedismas. Harvest, the act of reaping, figurative of the gathering of men into the kingdom of the Most High, referring to the time of reaping, the final judgment, when the righteous are gathered into the kingdom of the Most High, and the wicked are cast into hell forever, which ain't no damn hell. The hell that they're going to be cast into is the lake of fire, the thermonuclear destruction. So harvest is when you gather the crops that have fully matured, but when the time will to be revealed who the Lord's chosen is, and his sheep is severed from the midst of the goats, separated from the goats, that's going to be the final judgment. The righteous is going to be gathered into the barn, which is the chariots, and going to the kingdom of heaven, and the wicked, those tares, the ones that look like Israelites but want, they're going to be cast into fire. They're going to die in thermonuclear destruction. Go on out.
Yep. Let both grow together until harvest. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares.
There's more to that verse?
Yeah, there's a little bit more.
Finish that real quick.
Alright, second Ezra 16 and 73. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire.
Yeah, try as gold in the fire. That tribulation. Go ahead. And they're going to be delivered from that physical fire, which is the destruction. Go ahead out.
Right, Matthew 13 and 30. Let both grow together unto the harvest, and in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first
The reapers is talking about the angels.
Gather ye together first the tares, and bind them up, and bind them in bundles to burn them.
Let's try to look at this word. Let's see what that's in for bundles in the Greek. See what that's saying. I got some information on that. I want to bring it out as well. Oh, it just says the bundle. But it says bind them into bundles and burn them, right? Now I got this web page up. It says why would a grass farmer burn pasture? I'm gonna jump right down to the point because I don't want to read too much. Alright, I'm gonna jump right down to the point I want to read. It says burning. It says I'll start up. It says as grass farmers, you probably heard me say that what we do is grow grass, right? We then use cattle to harvest our crop while we want to burn pasture. September in time to renovate some of our finishing pastures for winter grazing, use a no-till drill to plant grass seed into the ground. This allows you to plant without having to disturb the soil by tillage in our steep to rolling hills. The potential for soil erosion is significant. A great advantage to this no-till planting is to conserve soil and decrease any erosion. So the Most High, so y'all trying to go renovate the earth, man, so to speak. Because the field is the world, you know? Another advantage is that we try to time the planting shortly after rain. Conventional methods of tilling will require for the pasture to dry out before disking. Since you don't remove the top layer and the soil is not directly exposed to the sun, the soil retains moisture longer. This provokes the germination of the grass seed. One unconventional method we employ in our no-till strategy is to utilize burning to kill the cover crop. Most no-till methods involve using herbicides to get rid of the cover. We prefer to burn the old pasture. Prescribed grassland burning can improve stands of native grass, control weeds, gone with tares, and trees, enhance wildlife habitat, and improve animal gains. Without burning pasture, the new growth each season has to compete with the mantle of dead and decaying vegetation. So if you don't burn that field up, when the new plant is growing, it's going to have to compete with that dead and decaying vegetation. So you burn it up so it can grow, you know? All right, go ahead.
Isaiah 24, and I start at 5.
Yep.
The earth also is defiled under the
That's
habitation
another
thereof.
thing, is the fire, man. That's why the elders always bring out how that fire is going to bring destruction and purification to the earth.
Yep.
But
Because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant.
those genetically modified organisms, man, and all other abominable shit you saw, do faggots, women over men, you name it.
Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left.
Yeah, they're going to be burned at thermal destruction, man. There's going to be few men left. There's going to be more people. There's going to be, obviously, there's going to be less people after the destruction,
Right.
because you're going to have billions of people that's going to die. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So let me continue.
Yeah, you said because Yahweh shall venerate the earth.
Yeah.
With Isaiah 60 and 13. The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together
Yep.
to beautify the place of my sanctuary, and I will make the place of my feet glorious. You know, the place of the Most High's feet is the earth.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. That's the point.
That's right. And renovate means to restore.
Yep.
So I'm gonna read a little bit more of this. It says, without burning pasture, the new growth each season has to compete with the mantle of dead and decaying vegetation. This stifles new growth by depriving the newly emergent seed of space and light. Burning encourages this new growth in plant diversity. Burning also releases nutrients in the dead vegetation so it can be used by the new growth. Our pastures require a continual control measure for shrubs and tree sprouts, otherwise the pastures will turn into forests. This control can be done by mowing, dozing, or chemicals. We believe that the natural prescribed burning each year is a better choice. It is healthier for the soil, healthier for the environment where we live, and doesn't rely on heavy fossil fuel input. So now you understand the physical aspect of burning up the tears, burning up the wheat. Burning up the tears, you know. So I think it's a little more to that verse. Did you read it all? Did you read all that 13th verse?
Yeah. About that verse 30.
Yeah.
Gather ye together the first the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them.
Yep.
But gather the wheat into my barn. That's what that.
Which is the chariots, and the wheat is talking about the children of the kingdom, the elected nation of Israel. Beginning with the 144,000 in the 1/3, which the 144,000 is part of the 1/3. You know, I wanted to get to Revelation 16 chapter, but I believe brothers got the gist of it.
Yeah.
You know? So with that, we're going to close. You know, all praise to Yahweh, Shem Yahshua, and Shalom to the elect. Shalom.
Shalom.